Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine.
Ta-da! Hi, welcome to Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Bre.
I'm Jess.
This is episode 86.
Indeed. We have a light up toast.
It's pretty great.
I like it. It's a USB toast. It's not real. It's a lamp. I thought it was bigger when I bought it, but it's really cute.
It is super cute.
It's happy.
And the toast itself is probably the size of a slice of bread.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
Toaster, not so much.
When we finish recording, I should put the mics back and then take a picture of the toast so I can post it when this episode comes out, which I'll forget to do.
And then you'll have to recreate it when this episode comes out.
Exactly.
Where's that toast lamp?
Dang it, where did my toast go?
Why did I put that away for the first time ever?
Yeah. My dad retired today. This was his very last day of work
What?
ever.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
I know. I feel like it has to be super weird to go to work for the very last day of your life.
I can't imagine your dad
Not working?
retiring.
No.
It seems so early.
And
is he of age?
He's of age. He can drink.
Impossible. I can't wait until I retire.
Same.
Only 30 more years.
I hate that for us. I'm going to become independently wealthy before that.
If we could do that both, that would be great.
That would
Thank
be
you.
delightful.
P.S. Our Patreon is www.patreon.com/dungeonsdopamine.
Do you think if you like just say, I don't know if you play lotto, I don't play lotto, but if you won the lotto and it was a life-changing amount of money, like $100,000 would be incredible.
Absolutely.
But it wouldn't
I'd have to go to work
necessarily
tomorrow.
change your life. Yeah. So if you won the life-changing money, would you tell people?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Mm-mm.
My parents would know.
Nope.
And that's it. No, my
Mine
parents
would not.
are not allowed to know.
My parents would not know. My dad would know.
Yeah. And I don't want to tell anyone else. Rob and Melissa might notice because things would start getting upgraded.
Right.
You might notice because we'd have like a recording shed.
Right? I'd show up to record and you'd be like, look at my new she shed.
Here, I'll pour you some champagne in this real crystal goblet. Enjoy.
This is what we drink when we record now.
Alfonso, please bring in the hors d'oeuvres. Yeah.
I'd be like, where did you come into some money? No.
No. I got a bit of a raise. We'll be jetting off to Hawaii tomorrow.
We won't be able. In fact, we'll have to record from Hawaii, so you better come with me.
Come with me. Bring the fam.
We can all fly out on my private jet. No big deal.
Yeah.
But I'm not rich. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. And regular old me, I'll have to work sometimes. I'll do it at night.
Won a contest for a private
Hawaii
jet.
Contest. Yeah, I don't want people like around digging, asking for money, changing the way they treat me, judging what you're doing. You know, there would be signs. Like, there's a really popular thing going through TikTok. I don't know if it's over. The trend is kind of over now, but like, if I won the lotto, no one would know. But there would be signs. And then there's something usually stupid, like a
lady with 16 dogs.
Exactly. I was thinking of a Lord of the Rings. What is it when you pull the thing and the little ball goes ping, 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 ping.
Ping pong? Nope. Pinball.
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who doesn't word. Yes, pinball. Lord of the Rings pinball machine. Or a first edition Ninja Turtles comic. What?
Just artfully displayed.
Exactly.
Right here. Mm-hmm.
With all of the Ninja Turtles statues I want. I would probably need to like filter my decorations in and out because I would want too many of them.
Right?
The D&D porch.
These are my October decorations, and these are my November decorations, and my December decorations.
Alfonso, please get the December decorations out.
Please drive over to the storage unit that I now own the entire storage facility and get my monthly decorations, please.
Exactly.
And then bring the crew out to set them up.
Exactly.
I'm busy.
And please tell Chef I'm a little famished.
Please have Chef bring my lunch. I'll be in the bathtub.
It wouldn't be different at all. It'd be exactly the same person.
I like the rich accent that goes with it.
Absolutely. I just assume once your bank account hits a certain number, you start talking like that.
Obviously.
My face hurts again. We talked I think a few weeks ago about the D&D table with the TV in it.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
goodness.
I just saw one the other day where it's the same thing, except it also you can have fog roll in so that people can't see other parts of the map, and you have to discover it as you go. So when your character hits a certain point, they can see farther, so it opens up the fog and you can see past it.
Oh my goodness.
So cool.
You need a whole training session just to learn how to use your table.
Right?
I'd be the dungeon master. I'd be like, and then hold on, you guys, don't look.
It's not
fog.
Tiamat. How do I get her to come? Yeah,
no, I didn't mean
not that.
Don't look. Everybody close your eyes.
I keep saying, because my cat doesn't get on the table. It's not something she does. She will occasionally...
Which is impressive.
Yes. She will occasionally get on her cupboards. It's usually because we have this window between our porch and our kitchen. So she's climbing into the porch when those windows are open.
She's just trying to escape your house.
Exactly. She's trying to get to the D&D porch. That's what it's going to be eventually when I get that money. But anyways, I always say that I am going to... Oh, no. Rewind. So she goes on and off the cupboards occasionally, but she's not really too bad about that kind of thing. Except when we're playing D&D. She has to be around. And so I keep threatening that I'm going to DM a story and the BBEG is going to be my cat. You take one paw strike. Maybe I'll get her a Displacer Beast costume. She'd be the perfect Displacer Beast.
She would be.
She'll need a tail, but maybe the costume will have one. I have a lion costume for my dog that looks like a lion. It's perfect.
Basically
anyway,
the same thing.
Exactly. I'm sorry. This was...
Hi guys, this is Dungeons and Dopamine.
Episode 86. Brought to you by Dungeons and Dragons Table.
And all the wishes Bre and Jessica have if they were someday obscenely rich.
Exactly. Please tell Chef.
I'm famished. Have him bring round lunch.
I would like the fluffy white napkins this time, not the gray, crusty napkins. I couldn't think of a texture. I didn't want to say...
You should fire Chef for bringing you gray, crusty napkins.
I can't handle anything anymore.
Also, Chef should not be putting out your napkins. That's the table setter's job.
Well, if they bring the table to me.
That's true.
Oh my god.
I'd like to hire you to be my chef and my table bringer.
I'm getting really warm because I'm laughing so hard and crying. And none of this is going to be as fun. When I edit this, I'm going to be like, were we drunk?
Maybe.
We did talk about mushrooms. Oh my
The best part is, I feel like we're silly because this is the last time we record this year and the kids are here and it's just, end of the year stuff. But when everybody hears this episode, it'll be halfway into January or all the way into January and they're going to be like, what is wrong with them?
Idiots. I get it. I agree. I wonder. Well, with this being...
Please tell us your thoughts.
Please do share with us. We do have a topic of discussion that we received.
We do.
But we actually need to look into it a little bit more.
Gonna need to do some scientific research about kiwis.
what it takes to be a mammal. So we'll see. We'll get there. But being the last episode of 2024 for us, not for you guys. Sorry.
You're already well into 2025.
You guys are in the future.
Sorry about your bad luck.
We are doing a discussion episode.
Yeah.
So this is episode Girls versus Boys.
Rawr.
Girls win.
The end.
Have a great 2024. See you soon.
13-minute episode.
I'm not going to make it anymore because I'm already dying of like breathing and laughter and I'm not going to live. So you sent me an article. Well, I guess a comic? It's not really an article.
Yeah, it's kind of a comic.
That you wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
Do you want to start there?
Yeah. And from what I can see, this apparently is a comic by Damian Alexander.
Thanks, Damian Alexander.
And it is, to summarize, it basically talks about how we teach little boys that if they want to do anything related to little girl toys, that it's beneath them, or it's weird, or it's gross. And then we expect little boys to grow up into men that treat women with respect. But there's one page of this comic that I think kind of sums it up really well. It says, there's this odd happening where girls are taught girl power and shown strong female role models, while boys are simultaneously taught the opposite. They're shown only male characters are worthy of admiration. So this is the idea that, you know, if your son wants to wear a Superwoman costume or wants to write about how their hero is Catgirl, or it's not Catgirl, it's Catwoman or Batgirl.
I was thinking you meant Cat Noir from Ladybug, and then I was like, that's a male character, I think.
So it doesn't support me at all.
Work.
No, but the idea that, like, if Connor wanted to dress up as Superwoman or Wonder Woman, I would say, oh, but wouldn't you rather be Superman? You know, even in this day and age, we very rarely allow little boys to have a hero that is not a man.
A strong man.
Whereas little girls are very much encouraged in this day and age, even a little bit when we were younger, not as much, but this day and age, like, little girls are encouraged. Oh yeah, you want to be Batman? Here's Batman toys.
Here's Batman, exactly.
You are interested in Marvel? Here's Iron Man toys. Here's Spider-Man toys. And we don't think a second thing about it, but we never encourage little boys to look up to female characters or strong female leads.
And like the amount of people I've heard say, oh, you can't wear pink or purple or pastel. That's a girl color, honey. Choose a different color.
And I've never, I guess even raising a boy, I've never thought of it this way. Like, we try to be very careful about, you know, oh, well, if you like pink, you can wear pink. If you like purple, you can wear purple. Connor's always been a boy's boy. It's never been something we really have to have a conversation about. He did recently something about, well, that's what girls wear, or that's what girls like, and it's weird when boys like that. And so we've had the conversations about, no, honey, you know, you can wear whatever you want. People can wear whatever they want to wear, whatever makes you happy. You know, we don't judge people for what they want to wear, what they want to do. But I've always just seen it as like an accepting thing. I accept my son no matter what he likes or who he turns out to be. I think there's always been a stigma around, like, you don't let boys like girl things because they might be gay someday.
Right.
So we've tried to be very accepting about, like, oh, you can like whoever you want or whatever you want. We're going to love you no matter what. But I never thought about it in the idea of we're teaching our young boys that girls are beneath them.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually absolutely true. Well, in like, so in gaming culture, and I'm going to go with gaming culture, I would say that, so there's the Witcher games. You've heard of the Witcher. Mm-hmm. Henry Cavill played the Witcher in the movie, or the television show. There have been 3 video games made based on the books, which is what, anyway. I'm not here to talk about The
And now we're
Witcher.
talking about the lore of The Witcher.
So, anyway, I'm just going to start reading the books, which I don't have, actually.
That'd be a really weird lead-in.
Oh my gosh, it would be such a weird one. So, the video game, like, announcement, like, I can't remember what it's called, but basically where, like, Disney has D23 where they announce everything they're going to do for the year at the parks and with their movies and shows and stuff like that. Well, video games have the same thing where game companies come together and they announce what they're working on. They show clips, blah, blah, blah. So there's 3 Witcher games where you play as Geralt, the main character. Now, he's been raising Ciri as his daughter. It's his child of surprise, or child's... I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, that doesn't actually matter. What matters is that he's been raising Ciri, who is a girl who has been grown up and learned to be a Witcher. She is now the star of the next game, or the main character, whatever you'd want to call it. People hate that.
Really?
Men hate that. They are highly offended by a female character being the lead in a game.
Because what do we have with video games? Lara Croft, Tomb Raider?
And she's sexualized. That's actually exactly where I was going. If your main character is a woman, she has to be sexual. Or at least whatever. I mean,
beautiful and scantily clad.
Lara Croft was scantily clad in pixels, like in 8-bit. Maybe 16-bit.
She had the perkiest boobs.
Exactly. The perkiest triangles.
Yeah.
She was Madonna. But Ciri is not like that. By the way, the game looks freaking impeccable. But in the little snippet that they give you, she's kicking ass. She's being amazing. She's not dressed like a hoe. I mean, your choice if you dress like that. And I shouldn't say that, but
I get what you mean.
Yeah, she's not dressed sexually for the sake of dressing sexually. And she's killing it. She's obviously become an incredibly talented Witcher. Why can't we explore that story? But no, men say they can't relate to it. Well, guess what? Girls are here, and we are in gaming. I don't think
we've been relating to male characters our entire lives.
Yes, I think that's why, and I know we always bring things back to this, but that's why the Sarah Moss books are so amazing. They are strong female characters who actually could have done everything they did without a man.
And they don't tear down other women to get there.
Oh my gosh.
That is my favorite part of her writing. Like there are some tiffs between women.
Sure.
Which is fine because that's going to happen in real everyday life too.
Yeah. And the main one I'm thinking of is when they're young. So they're young and dumb, and they admit that to each other later on.
And they straight out have the conversation like, hey, I didn't like you, but I didn't have any reason to. I was just trying to survive.
Exactly.
And then they become BFFs.
Yes.
And it's always support. It's always women supporting each other. They're not competing against each other. They're not, except for the bad guys, they're not out to steal your man or your spot or your place. They're just there to help you.
Yes. And I love that. And I think I also want to throw out too that unless I'm mistaken, they don't downgrade the men either. Everyone is equal. Like, there's even a plot line in the ACOTAR series about that, because Feyre is told she'll never be the High Lady of the Spring Court because they don't exist. And I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a whole plot line about it.
Yes.
And it goes and it grows, and it's really cool. And I think that's why that is. And I hate the toxic male culture. I also have seen it in Star Wars fandoms and Marvel fandoms when Captain Marvel, everyone hates that movie. They hate it. They hate Ahsoka. They hated The Acolyte, which was literally the best Star Wars show that has come out. Just to throw my 2 cents in there. Let's talk about The Acolyte. But The Mandalorian, and I love Pedro. I will always support The Mandalorian, but that got huge praise. They were all really good. The only one I don't like is, I can't remember what it's called. I don't like it that much. Andor, I think is what it's called, which people are probably going to come at me for, but...
No, I thought a lot of people didn't like that one.
I thought it was boring. It was like a Star Wars, not even a cop drama. It was like a Star Wars soap opera.
Oh, gross.
I probably should have watched it a little bit longer, but anyway. I got bored.
That's... And it's gotta be because we were raised... Even our generation was raised... You know, boys couldn't play with Barbies. They couldn't play with anything pink. They couldn't...
Purple was gay.
Yes.
When we were kids. Mm-hmm. If a boy or a man wore purple, it was gay.
Yep. And that was very derogatory and very nasty.
Almost. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And so now we have a whole generation of adult men who only see girls as beneath them.
Yes.
Because that's how they... It doesn't matter if your intention was to raise a man that saw women as equals, when you're also telling that little boy that he can't play with any girl toys and he can't pretend to be girls and he can't like girl things because it's sissy or it's gross or it's beneath him or it's
for girls
weak
to do.
Or whatever. So we think we're teaching these boys not to be gay or not to be whatever, sissies or whatever that means.
Be a man.
But what we've taught them is...
Men are better than women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're not allowed to play with their toys or talk about their stuff. That's
because why would you want to? That's beneath you.
Exactly. That's why they're inferior in movies and games.
Mm-hmm.
And because, boy mom, girl mom, on the loosest terms ever. I won't ever label you a boy mom, and I don't ever want to be labeled that girl mom.
Right.
But in just the most basic terms of what we are and the differences that we face in parenting, I have been trying Carly's whole life to change the words "you're being bossy" to "you're the boss," or like "you're being the boss." But it's also teaching her how to properly be the boss.
Right.
Not just ordering people around and being cruel. But I don't want her to... No, she does not ever need to stop talking because someone says, stop it, you're being bossy, or you're being loud, or you're being mouthy.
Sassy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Good for you. Be the
sassy.
Boss. Exactly.
I hope you did it right, but be sassy.
And that's something I've really worked hard on. I've slipped up a couple times, and been like, okay, Miss Bossy. And then... I just let it go, and it's in a jest, and I hope that will translate when she's older. I mean, she understands sarcasm already. So
she sure does.
She should it too. But I'm sorry, Carly. But it's really important that she doesn't ever feel like she needs to stop talking, especially because a man calls her bossy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone, and I don't ever think it comes from a place of being cruel or rude when people say that to little girls. But anytime someone says it to her, I say, oh no, she's just being the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't need to think that. If she wants to be the boss, be the boss.
Right. I love that.
My goal is to teach you how to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not a tyrant.
Respectfully.
Yes. And understanding your limits and that you are currently 8 years old, not the boss of 60-year-old people or 50-year-old people or your parents.
Right.
That kind of thing. That's always bugged me.
But you're also setting her up for succeeding when she does get older. Because how many times have you or me or any woman in our generation not stood up to our boss?
Yes.
Or the person above us? We were told, you just be quiet, you just,
don't be bossy.
Yeah, you might be upset, but you don't need to say anything. That's not your place. You're setting her up to be able to not only speak out for her, but speak out for other people as well.
Yes.
Which is huge. And that's what we try really hard with Connor, because he is a boy. He's not gonna have that problem.
Right.
He's always gonna be able to feel like he can speak out and say what he feels.
And those other people are women. When someone comes in for an answer, especially if it's another man, they're gonna immediately look to him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully by the time our kids are grown up,
it'll be different.
Dissipated some,
yes.
But yes.
But I'd like to know that my son is gonna grow up and help others speak up too.
Yes.
Not just be the one that, I want to raise or I want to be treated well. But, hey, you're not treating my coworkers well. You're not treating this other group of people well.
Yes. Or, oh, no, during this meeting, you've interrupted her. Why didn't you let her finish what she's saying?
Yes.
I actually just watched a TikTok of a woman who got fired because she was trying to do a presentation or something, and one of the men kept cutting her off and steamrolling over her, and she asked him politely a few times, could you please just let me get through this? So the next time he did it, she just kept talking and like fast and right over top of him. Well, then she made a TikTok about it, which maybe, wasn't the best idea, but she got called into HR, they talked to her, and then a week later she got fired. Bet that guy never got spoken to at all.
Not at all.
Treating her that way.
Yeah.
He started yelling, you're monologuing during her conversation, or during her presentation, because she wouldn't stop and let him steamroll her.
That's what presentations are for.
Right?
That is my job during a presentation, is to monologue.
I envy the fact that she was able to get through that without, I think I would have thrown a tantrum. Mm-hmm. Like, legit. Like, it makes me angry just thinking about it, to the point where I think I would have thrown an actual tantrum. And they would have fired me on the spot because I would have acted like an absolute brat.
Yeah, no, same.
He would have had it coming. And he won't be punished for it. I
have had to, in my previous job as clerk, had to stop men from interrupting me and speaking over me. I've multiple times during board meetings where, like, I have a microphone in front of me and I am sitting in front of people, and I have had to say, sir, I need you to stop interrupting me so I can finish this.
Oh my gosh.
And it just astounds me that being this age, being an adult, being in these professional settings, people still feel like they can talk over me.
Yes.
Or interrupt me, or completely just demolish whatever I'm talking about and talk over me.
And we're kind of experts on this because we have ADHD. And a symptom of that is that our brains are working really fast and we want to connect. So a lot of times, even before you finish your sentence, I know what you're saying in anticipation, and I'm already thinking about the next thing I'm going to say. We have to practice active listening. So we understand interrupting. This stuff isn't interrupting. This is power play.
Right.
I'm bigger and better and stronger and more important than you.
I can roll with somebody interrupting me because they're excited and they're like jumping in and they're like, oh my God, that's a great idea. What if we did this? I cannot be interrupted by somebody that is just demeaning and talking over me to either disagree with what I'm saying or to say his point louder than whatever I'm saying.
The other thing, and I think this is completely like, I don't know, it goes from little kids now to older people. One thing I don't like is when we accept forgive me, I know that not all older men are like this, but that old men trope of, I can flirt with my waitress. I worked at Hallmark when I was between the ages of 17 and 24-ish, around there. I had men tell me all the time little gross things like, oh, just give me a smile. You look so much prettier when you smile. Mm-hmm. Little flirty, gross crap that I had to take because it was my job. And waitresses specifically have it even worse. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not okay that, your dad is elderly and flirts with the waitress. For one,
gross.
And have some respect for the people around you. But also, she does not have a choice in that matter. Don't do that to her.
And you're dealing with her livelihood because she knows that if she is rude to you, it's going to affect her tip.
Yep. And that's the American tipping culture. We could just do a whole nother episode on it of me ranting about it. But don't do that to her. She doesn't have the choice but to smile when you say sick little things like, oh, you're so pretty when you smile, or give me a smile, sweetie.
Or give me a little extra blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Or, are you on the menu? I've heard it all. It's so gross. Don't do that to her.
I even yell at Zach. He is the king of, because he has a bad memory. He doesn't remember anybody's name. Yeah. So he's the king of, oh, thanks, babe, to the waitress.
Right.
Like, we have discussions over what words he can use and what he can call people.
Yeah, it's a good thing to bring to his attention because I don't think men do.
I did hear him accidentally say it to a male waiter the other day, though, and that was hilarious.
That's beautiful.
just to prove that Zach is he's not doing it to be chauvinistic.
Am I allowed to keep that in?
Yes. He's not doing it to be chauvinistic. It's just what he does.
Right.
Because
I totally agree. And unacceptable. Mm-hmm. I mean, not Zach. Unacceptable.
Zach is unacceptable.
That he called that waiter babe.
It's great.
I would have loved to have been there. He would have hated it had we both been there.
Because I did really well, like, not reacting. So that we didn't embarrass anybody. But
one thing I do think is something that we don't consider a lot in modern culture, and I think, I understand it because we've come finally to a point where these things are being brought up and thought about and pointed out, and people are trying to change. And of course, we all have like our implicit biases. Like sometimes I'll default to thinking, well, I think we've discussed it before. I said like, oh, Bre didn't bring a birthday present for Carly. Well, no, Bre didn't need to. What about our other family members? I think that was the example we had used last time. And so sometimes we just assume jobs. Or,
right.
What'd your wife make you for dinner last night? Well, actually, Ryan and Zach do most of the cooking in our house. I do the planning and I order most of the groceries and stuff. But honestly, Ryan cooks most of the time. So it's not okay to assume that, but we all have these like assumptions and implicit biases, and we can't. Knowing about them, like if you think about them, you can start to correct yourself. But anyways, so I think we've gone so far, some people have gone so far in the direction of women inequality, they've actually started to do to men what they were doing to women before. I hate that.
Same.
I hate that. I don't think it's okay for one. I don't want Carly to end up feeling like her relationship should be where she's above a man and putting him down all the time,
right,
and ordering him around, and that's not the kind of relationship she should have. It's not a healthy one, and I don't want to see like Connor, for example, be in a relationation like that,
right,
whether it be with Carly or not. We can
whether it
for
be
friends
with
if we
Carly.
have to. But it's just, I don't like that. I don't like bashing men the same way I don't like putting women below them because one's superior
we're
to the
fighting
other.
for equality,
Yes,
not for anything else.
superiority.
I don't need men to bow down and fall at my feet because women have been harassed and treated poorly for years.
Right.
I just need men to treat me like I'm the same
Equal.
human they are.
Exactly.
I don't want special treatment. Just want regular treatment.
Yes, I don't want you to hold the door for me because I'm a woman and I can't open the door for myself. I want you to open the door for me or hold the door for me because I'm a human being.
That's what you do when
and otherwise
someone
it's
is
going to
behind
shut
you.
in my face. Yeah, exactly. I want you to hold the door for me in the same way you would hold it for Ryan. Like, I don't want that. I also don't want you to shut it in his face.
Right.
I don't think anyone deserves that. Oh, this isn't quite related, but it made me think of it while we were talking about it. The parenting thing. This is not necessarily, this is almost the opposite of what I was just talking about, I guess. But whatever, I'm rambling. So
that's what this episode is.
This is what this episode is. The whole, he's such a great dad. He's babysitting his kids. He took his kid to the park. He put his kid to bed. He changed a diaper, and he gets a celebration. Mm-hmm. Where we just do that all the time, constantly.
It's just what we're supposed to do.
If you and I were to go out to dinner tonight, and someone ran into us, and I mean, a lot of our friends were not going to do this, but husband's
who's got the kids tonight?
Yeah, and then you say, Ryan's with Carly, and he's babysitting. That's so nice of him.
Aw, Dad took care of the kid for a night? No. Dad takes care of his kid every night.
Exactly. Yeah, Ryan actually gets incredibly offended when you say that because he's like, I'm more in my kid's life than a babysitter.
Right.
Don't say that. That's not my role in her life. I'm her dad. I'm teaching her. I'm taking care of her. It is my job as her father to take care of her. He's furious when that crap happens. But yeah, I've seen we've talked about it before. We're before the holidays. I've seen a lot of TikToks of women saying that they're making a video as if they took the dad's place, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So the one that I watched the other day that I found impactful was like just before the holidays, like, oh no honey, I don't know anything about teacher gifts, you'll have to ask your dad. And oh no sweetie, I'm not gonna be able to remember everything she said, but I don't know anything about a Christmas concert. And no, daddy's stocking isn't empty, it's full of love. And I wanted to puke, but I think I've talked about that too. Like last year there was a big, just fill your wife's stocking.
Right.
It's not that hard. Stop making her sit there Christmas morning watching everybody open what she's done all the work for, while you both get credit for it. I'm lucky in that I don't have to worry about that, but
I have to reel Zach in because he's like, oh, he'd like this, and he'd like this, and he'd like this. And we've got like 30 packages showing up, and I'm like, I thought we were going easy on presents this year.
Thought we were doing experiences. He's like, yeah, we're building a box fort.
Right.
Duh.
All the boxes.
The stuff in it is
all the
inconsequential.
tools to buy to build the things.
Exactly. Full of super glue.
Well,
your house is going to smell terrible.
Connor has also figured out that if he likes things that we like, he gets a lot more leeway on things. So that has turned out well.
I love that.
Hence the Dungeons and Dragons books from the last episode.
He's going to con me into so many Ninja Turtle things.
Yep.
Yeah, Jessica, if you buy this, I can play with it when I'm at your house, but you'll have it the rest of the time.
See, this speech delay he had really saved us all a lot of money.
Yeah, you're going to have to work on that. I think the mom thing is a really different thing. We were kind of talking about this before we started recording, but the boy mom, girl mom, we talked about it during this actually. And the kind of creepy boy mom thing.
Oh my goodness.
I think we've touched on it before. There are some weird things out there. Some at TikTok. I mean, let's just assume if I learned something, it's from Viva TikToker, and that's why we drink. So I've seen women who have said, you might get to kiss him all the time, but I was his first. No, stop. Because if you're competing with his wife or girlfriend, you have a mental problem. It's just gross. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked about it the last time too, like that girl-dad thing is very similar in a different, it's similar in a parallel way.
And I feel like that was more prevalent even when we were younger, or because we both waited a little while to have kids.
Yes,
like our friends, like some of them had kids right out of high school, and those kids are like 20 years old now. And then some of us waited
till we were old to have kids, and now we're going through all of this now. But I have noticed that just a random thought that a big chunk of people, if you go to like a kids event, are our age or they're very young. There's not really any in between.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Everybody either had their kids right away after high school or they waited until their 30s.
Yes. There maybe are a few in between that had a kid and then a second kid that's our kid's age, but very few. It's really strange.
Even like our group of friends, all of us have kids around the same age.
Yes.
But my other group of friends who are only a year or two older than me all have almost adult children or have adult children now. Like have 21-year-olds. And I have an 8-year-old. It's just crazy to me. It is really weird. And we're only 2 years apart.
Yeah, it's so strange. But yes, so the daddy-daughter thing, I feel like it did die off a little bit. And that was
a lot of like the purity ring culture, which was really the only part that freaked me out. Like you had to promise to your dad that you weren't going to have sex with anybody. Yeah. That's weird to me.
I don't want to talk about that with my dad.
And then like go to a dance and get a ring from your... No.
Right.
But... boy moms are weird.
It's very strange. Where did this come from?
I know it's women that this is people are going to judge me for saying this, but I think it's women that have bad relationships with their own dads, probably, and then have not been able to have good marriages. It's usually like the single moms or the ones that are in relationships where the husband is awful or not around often. Yeah. So they place all this on their boy child to become like you hear it a lot, the man of the house.
Yes. Yeah, you hear it in movies.
And they then they start protecting their mom, and then they never want to move out, and they like all the girlfriends that come home are never good enough, and it's always a judging thing. It's just so gross to me.
It's very gross. It's very, I think, very, very detrimental to both child and the mother, and obviously future relationships with truly anyone, whether it's the mom getting into a new relationship or even friendships, and then obviously the child being in a relationship where no one's good enough and their mom is meddling all the time,
or they're choosing their mom over their new partner, and especially if they then have kids and trying to raise kids in a situation where the husband is always siding with the mother-in-law or siding with his mom, or it's just it's hard.
It would be crazy. And I've seen people say, well, boys always want to go with their girlfriends or their wives. They always spend more time with that side of the family. And I actually think that's just kind of a natural thing that happens. But I've also seen make your house one that they want to, or make yourself someone they actually want to be around.
Right. Be the house they want to be at.
Yes. If you're not making your house comfortable, accessible, or yourself, some people don't have the ability to travel that far. If you have a bunch of little kids in your house and your in-laws' house or your parents' house, I guess I'm throwing it on in-laws because I'm thinking of it from my perspective of a wife. But if your house isn't child-friendly, if you have breakable crystal goblets everywhere, if you have
shiny knights of armor that have pointy things on them.
Exactly. A mean animal. Or the child is allergic to animals and can't be around it. You couldn't be around cats. I mean, you were all the time. Especially
I suffered.
In my house.
It was fine.
You always had a box of tissue
Still
for
don't breathe right, but it's fine.
It's fine. But yeah, or if you smoke or if you hoard, that's not a friendly environment for someone to bring their kids to. If I'm bringing my kids somewhere, I want it to be safe. I don't need it to be centered around her. I don't need her to be entertained because I can bring toys or tablets. I've always done that.
But I want to be comfortable that I can bring my kid there and know he's not going to die.
Exactly. Or break something
that I'm going to be comfortable.
Yes. Yes.
Like, it's not enough just to... I have great in-laws.
Yes.
They've always made me feel like part of the family. They're always really friendly about that. But
it's not always the way.
I have extended family on their side that is very much traditional. So it's always... Like, one of the comments I got from one of Zach's uncles when I met the family was... Oh, Zach, this is your new girlfriend? She's not the usual supermodel type that you bring home.
Wow.
And it was always like that with his side of the family. It was just very much my worth was how I looked, how I was, like, how many kids I provided them, and how I raised them. It was always very obvious to me that that's what I was there for.
Yeah, that makes me puke.
And we don't talk to that side of the family much anymore.
Weird. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that expectation of, like, I'm supposed to make Ryan a plate before I cook for myself or before I finish my meal or whatever. I will be courteous. If I am cooking dinner and we're home, I make him a plate because I'm making
so nice
myself
of
a
you.
plate. I know, right? I deserve sainthood.
But why would you make him a plate at a get-together?
Right? Or like a buffet or something. Why would
that be your responsibility?
The only time I think that might be acceptable, and I would never insist it on anyone, is if you were there for the first or second time and very uncomfortable. But even then, I would expect him to come up with me and make his own plate because I'm not your servant. Right. Or if he had a broken leg.
Yeah. Yeah, or if the baby's little and he's holding the baby.
Yes,
and doesn't want to, like, I don't want him to get up because the baby's sleeping. Exactly. I will bring you a plate of food.
Yes.
And wouldn't this world be so much better if we were all just treating each other as like capable adult humans that could take care of themselves?
Teaching your son to do laundry, teaching your daughter to change a tire, not acting like she's not allowed to be in the garage, not acting like he's not allowed to do ballet. There are football players who've done ballet because it makes them stronger, more agile athletes. There are women who work on cars. The only thing I think that keeps you back is if, say, you're not as strong. I don't think I'll ever be as strong as Ryan.
I can't change a tire. It's not because I don't know how. It's because I can never get the stupid lug nuts out because I'm not strong enough. Right. We all knew how to change a tire. None of us were strong enough to get the lug nuts off.
Exactly. Thankfully, a nice man stopped, and he did get them off for us. And it was a weird thing because it was a Mustang, so there was something weird about it too. I don't remember.
That's right.
But anyway, yes, there are those things, but they shouldn't limit you if it's not a limiting thing to do. I understand. I'm probably not. I mean, I don't want to do this anyway, but like going to be hoisting anchors on ships or anything like that because I'm not as strong as the man next to me that can do it. I sometimes will have Ryan get things down from top cupboards because he has 1.5 feet on me.
Right, because he's a tall person, not because he's a male person.
Exactly. So I do just love the idea of it being equal. And
so raising a girl,
yes,
have you run into, has she like come home and, because with Connor we have had to have a couple conversations about like, no, it's okay that your friend likes girl stuff.
Yeah,
you know, we don't yuck their yum. It's, you know, it's not weird if you wear a pink shirt. It's not, you know, we do have those conversations. Do you have to does Carly come home with that sort of thing?
Little bits of it. And you know what's funny is it's never her saying she can't do it because it's a boy thing. There have been a few clothes where she's been, because since she was a baby, I've bought her boy or girl clothes. I don't care if it's cute.
You've handed clothes down to us.
Exactly. I had a Ninja Turtles outfit that was very much a boy's outfit, and I just clipped a flower on it because it was orange, and Leonardo is the superior Ninja Turtle. That's fine. And I didn't need to clip a flower to it.
Right.
And I knew that, but especially with little tiny babies, no one can ever tell what they are, so I did. But anyways, she's had a few things of like shirts or clothes or whatever. Oh, yeah, I can't wear that anymore. It's for a boy. I'm like, well, you can wear it if you like it. It doesn't matter. No one will know it's for a boy. But not a lot of it, like, I can't play that or I can't do that. She's never thought of video games as like boy, like we used to. And then just a few things like, oh, he played with blah blah blah, or he didn't want to color with this color or whatever. It's like, oh, that's silly. He could color with whatever color he wants. And I always try to just make it seem like, duh, of course he could play with whatever he wants. Very natural. Very.
That's how I try to handle it too.
Uncomplicated.
Like, oh, why do you think that's weird? I don't think that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, I love the color blue. Whatever, you know. And same with the clothes. Like, wait, that's fine. If you don't like it anymore, you don't have to keep it. But if you just don't want it because you think it's for boys, that's not a good reason. You can wear whatever you want.
We even had, there's a new Mario video game, but it's Peach. It's like Peach Party or something. And they had it at the library, and we knew we were going to go get it. And all of a sudden, Connor was like, Mom, can you check that game out for me? And I was like, why? He's like, well, it's for girls. People might laugh at me if I pick it, if I get it. That's silly. Like, it's a video game. Everybody can play video games. You don't have to think of it as a girl game. No one's gonna laugh at you. Who would laugh at you? Exactly, so I try to just be like, oh, like, no big deal.
I remember feeling that way when I was younger because we loved wrestling. I didn't want to have the wrestling magazine in my hand or the toy or the shirt. I mean, I wore the shirt.
I was going to say, until we decided to only wear wrestling shirts.
But I do feel like we've come a few steps further with little girls and their ability to play with whatever they want or do whatever they want or whatever, you know, clothes they were going to wear. I do feel like we've come a step further with them than we have with little boys. Like, it just wasn't a thought to teach the boys.
It's like we pushed the little girls ahead.
Yeah.
But we kept the little boys behind.
Where they were.
The same thing we talked about at the beginning. Like, we're still telling little boys that they can't look up to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. Or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She's literally one of the strongest Avengers. So Scarlet Witch. Mm-hmm. Literally 2 of the strongest Avengers, like, hands down.
And nobody talks about them.
Of course you can love them. They're awesome. Mm-hmm. Now, Scarlet Witch has one of the most terrifying Marvel movies at all. Oh, gosh. I hated it, actually.
Was it?
We won't let Carly watch it, even though she actually is dressed as Scarlet Witch for Halloween before. But, yeah, come on. Like, let's get over it. And I also think, too, if you like those traditional gender roles and that is the way you want to, like, live your life, go for it. But let's not make it
so black and white.
You can't do that because you're a boy. Let's make it... Let's do it this way instead. Girls and boys can do it, but we're going to do it this way. Or something more like that.
Let's do it this way because that's how I like to do it.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be... Let's do it this way because this is how girls do it. Or girls, this is a girl activity. Just that, hey, this is some... And traditional, like you said, traditional roles are fine. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise your baby and cook meals every day and do all the housework and not have a job outside the house, good for you. Like,
absolutely.
More power to you. I bet your house looks great and I'm jealous.
Absolutely.
But if you were a man that gets to stay home and raise your kids and cook dinner and have food on the table, that's great too.
If you live the life where you make your husband a plate because you're kinder than me.
Right.
Also amazing. Let's just not make it so that your husband expects you to do it because it's your job. Let's make sure it's because it's what you've chosen to do.
And within your relationship, that's the roles you've chosen.
Yes. And you both have an understanding that if you cannot get his plate, maybe he has to get yours this time. Because I don't want anyone to listen and think, wow, they hate gender roles. They hate what I like. Because no, it's the whole point is to do, as long as you're not harming anyone else, do it your way. Mm-hmm. Don't hurt anybody else. Don't bankrupt people.
And don't teach my kid that he has to do it your way.
Yes. Don't be a teacher who says, oh, no, you can't color that with pink. You're a boy.
Mm-hmm. Or, that can't be your hero. That's a girl.
Yeah. No, Scarlet Witch is literally amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So is Siri. The iPhone thing.
That would be really disappointing if you were like, Siri's great. You're on the whole podcast talking about how you don't even have an Apple phone.
We have no Apple devices in this household.
Which is why nothing lit up when you said it. Because I was like, nope.
She's going to talk.
None of us don't have.
I do have the most random fact, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently they're doing studies that if you speak kindly to ChatGPT, you will get better answers. You will get better information, and it will talk to you more kindly.
Even AI knows.
I know.
That we should treat people with respect.
Do better.
Come on, people.
Would you like to start? I always feel like I start. Then I feel bad.
Because you're always like, this is done now.
We're done. This is it.
I'm
Goodbye.
Decided. Yeah. So this was Dungeons and Dopamine Podcast.
Girl v boy. Listen to us anywhere you stream podcasts or on YouTube. And on YouTube.
We are on all the things.
We're on all of the things.
You can also support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/dungeonsdopamine.
True that. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Insta, and Reddit.
You can reach out to us on any of those social medias or also at dungeonsdopamine@yahoo.com.
Dungeons and Dopamine is edited and published by Argyle Pigeon Productions.
The pigeon is feeling a little under the weather this week.
Pigeon is really tired.
She's so tired.
She laughed so hard, her face hurts, and now she feels like she needs to sleep.
She needs to eat her eggs and toast and go to bed.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Okay, we love you.
Bye.
Bye.